Albania, the village of Nënshat, a somewhat melancholic early autumn, a unique day anticipated with unease for some months, a day of new human destinies. A day that bodes a completely new beginning, inauguration of a closed community life for these Carmelite sisters at this, the first Carmelite convent in Albania's history. Bishop Doda, administrator of the Sapa diocese, brought them here. Croatian sisters, friends from 3 Carmelite communities who have committed themselves to founding this new convent.
Što sestre žele I misle da bi bilo ipak najprikladnije za sagraditi samostan.
The sisters had to choose a place they thought most appropriate. On arriving here, they immediately took a liking to the location. Up on a hill, not unlike Mount Carmel, from which the order takes its name. The ruins of the Sjemjeniska Orthodox Church were the second reason for their choice. In its day, this was also the seat of the youngest bishop in Europe, who later died a martyr's death. There are also the wonderful views. On one side, the whole valley at our feet, and on the other, there are the mountains. An environment uniquely suited to prayer and meditation. In other words, to our life.
Kako ću moći odgovoriti tom pozivu?
When I arrived here, I immediately felt that this region truly needed a Carmelite presence.
Upravo u ovom dijelu da su potrebne sestre karmeličanke.
We could offer this nation something for the spirit, something that up to now they had not had the chance either to see or to hear.
Nisu imali prilike ni čuti ni vidjeti, jer sve što je bilo crkveno, sve što
Everything to do with the church had been banned. Even to mention the church was enough to end up in prison. Priests were murdered and nuns were driven out.
Svećenici su poubijani.
Thus, our presence here is for these people like a great prize, whilst for me personally, the fact that we are able to bring this unique nation the light truly is a blessing.
Tako jednom narodu mogu biti svjetlo.
Sigurno da je bilo jako teško rastati se sa svojom zemljom.
Leaving Croatia, leaving our homeland, was without doubt very difficult. I and all of us nuns love our native country, the land of our fathers and our birth. Leaving was hard. Leaving our communities from which we came, because they made us what we are, was harder still. We were not unlike Abraham, who had to leave his country, everything he knew and loved, and face the unknown. But I felt, at least for my part, that we were being carried in God's hands.
There were 2 reasons why I wanted to bring the Carmelite sisters to Albania. The first was that Albania had for many years become dominated by evil. There was so much sin here that they could only be eliminated through prayers and blessings. They pray on behalf of this nation that sin should disappear from this land. The second reason relates to all the work and tasks upon which we had been engaged over the first few years of our presence here. Our commitment was such that people began to see us not as a Christian community, but more like people engaged in social work. I wanted to set an example, for someone to bear witness that we are truly a church that knows the meaning of sacrifice and denial in this world.
Everything that has happened, right from the very beginning up to now, was leading up to this moment and the establishment of the papal cloister. We at last have the conditions allowing us to fulfill our Carmelite vocation and begin a normal convent existence.
I počela je sveta misa procesijom iz našeg samostana.
The Holy Mass began with a procession from here, our convent, to a site specially prepared for the celebration of the Holy Mass. The altar boys went first, followed by the sisters, and then came the priests and the bishops.
Svećenici I biskupi. Zato smo izašli van da ovaj trenutak zatvaranja.
We came outside to make the moment of establishing the cloister even more uplifting for us and all our friends who had come here.
There is a problem with the sacraments. They are either unavailable or believers have not been prepared to receive them. This is a dilemma faced by many Christians who live their lives and practice their faith in their own distinct way. But seeing that priests or others who might have educated them were absent from these villages for so many years, this state of affairs is no surprise. Without the church or any pastoral care, people learned to deal with the situation by living their faith as they saw fit. Now that the church and priests have once again returned to these mountainous villages, people are finding it hard to get used to a religion that demands commitment and determination from them, a religion that is a way of life that rules their lives.
Our basic task here in Albania, as in all Carmelite convents, is to lead a life of sacrifice and love for the Church, a life of prayer and penance, including perpetual abstinence, for the work of the Church and for the sanctification of priests who are the preachers of the Gospel. But here, more especially, to pray for the Albanian Church, for Sapa's bishopric and for all the priests, also for the Catholic faith, that it may grow and that people may learn to welcome Jesus and live the joy of the good news. That is how we evangelize.
I to je naš način evangelizacije.
Do you think that the Carmelite sisters' prayers will help Albanians? Of course we think so, surely, very much so. In what way? God willing, their prayers will help. To meet our needs and our children who have gone out into the world, and to strengthen our faith. Will that help Albania? Very much so, perhaps more so than elsewhere. We lived through a living nightmare for 50 years. We have children in exile and we are so anxious, with God's help, when things get a little better, to see them come back. We all returned to the convent after the Holy Mass. As we continued to pray, we received the final blessing from the priests and bishops. Then we all came out onto the terrace, from where the priests blessed and dispensed a plenary indulgence to all the faithful gathered below. Finally, we did something that is typical of Albania. We all sat down and had fun together, followed by a communal meal up here on the terrace. I feel their hearts, an exceptionally welcoming people. I admire the children, their honesty, their sensitivity, their games. At home, you can see how the children succumb to Western influences. Here, the children are innocent, so direct.